and welcome to the 4th episode of the Tag Nation podcast, where we bring you everything lesbian, queer, and under the rainbow. So, my name is Jade Salazar, and I have a couple other co-hosts here.
Mm-hmm. This is Chelsea Short, regular gay. Excuse me if I sound kind of weird. I'm having some serious allergy reactions.
It is allergy season. I've been so blessed not to have allergies, and I know, like, if there's wood, I would knock on it right now, because I know once I turn 30, I'm going to have some allergies.
Why? What does turning 30 have anything to do with it?
So I hear that every, 7 years, your body changes, and you can develop allergies later in life, and I've always known that, I don't have allergies. I've always been so blessed not to, so it's that's just going to happen. I just feel like every time I say it, it's it for now, but
okay. I feel like this is the worst medical advice I've ever heard. It's worse than WebMD. I'm sorry,
I live
Katie
for
Ray,
WebMD.
That's you went from rumor to rumor. I don't even know if that's true. I don't know.
Well, I don't know either. I am no doctor, but I am Katie Ray, MC promoter, writer for Tag Magazine, and I'm going to fact check my sources and get back to you on if I will develop allergies later in life.
I will say I have developed more allergies as I've kept going, but also one of my biggest fears is dying of anaphylactic shock, so thank you for giving me another thing to worry about.
What is that?
Where your throat closes up.
Oh, no.
So I'll just keep eating some. I'll be like, I wonder if I'm allergic to this now.
Oh, gosh, well...
So, welcome, guys, and what's been going on this week?
I don't know.
Lots of stuff. Chelsea, I saw you Friday.
What? Oh, yeah, that's right. We had a King show at Scandal on Friday. It was a lot of fun.
It was, and I didn't mess up your music.
Very handsome.
Oh, you did?
I did.
You
look dapper. I could wear a beard all the time. It was really nice.
I like you in a beard.
Oh, thank you. What now?
What was your show?
It was just a King show before at the Scandal party.
But
what song did we do? My brother, Pretty Ricky, and I, we did B.O.B. featuring Trey Songz. Not for long. It was really cool, and I did the mix myself.
Nice.
It was pretty awesome.
And you know what I love about living in D.C. is that we are home, many people don't know this, to the longest running King show in the world.
That's right.
And they're the D.C. Kings, and so I work for Scandal D.C. I DJ the event along with DJ D-Dub, and I do the music for the Kings. And I'm always nervous because I know how much time you guys put in your costumes and your outfits, your performances. Mm-hmm. You guys always bring it, and it's so professional. And so then it's I'm always nervous about getting on the computer and my computer's going to freeze, it's going to mess up, I'm going to mess this up, and they're going to hate me. So luckily, that has not happened yet.
Yeah, and it probably has happened before, so no pressure.
My first show, actually, not even first show, my first night out in D.C., I first moved here 10 years ago, was a King's show at Apex.
Right.
Really?
Apex, yeah.
Oh my god!
And all I remember is at the very end, everyone got on stage, and they were dressed like Vikings, and they had this fake boat, and they did Sail Away, I'm Sailing by Styx.
By who?
Styx.
Styx?
Yeah, I think that's who it's by.
I don't know.
It was amazing. It was I'm sailing. I'm singing.
I think
nobody wants to hear me sing.
I just think it's so important to go out and support events like that. Where if there's a King show in your community or a burlesque show, there's really a lot of great opportunities to connect with people, but also to support performers who are really going out there and living it up and gender bending. I think it's totally cool. I've done a Kinging experience one time. I dressed up. Y'all know I'm obsessed with Lady Gaga, and so I dressed like the male Lady Gaga from Joe Calderone. I dressed like him for a whole night, and Ken Vegas actually took time out of the schedule, the busy schedule of the Kings, to do my facial hair.
Oh,
and
nice.
I had no idea you guys have that glue that you put on your face, and you cut felt. I mean, it's so creative how people put their outfits together, cutting felt. Right? And then dapping it on your face. Or it's something.
Some Kings use makeup to create facial hair, but some Kings, if you have a short haircut or you recently got your haircut, you'll keep your hair.
Oh, really?
And then you cut your hair up really fine, and using the glue, you actually glue your own hair to your face.
I'm going to have hot pink hair on my face the next time I King.
I had no idea about that. And I think that the King's website, too, even if you're someone who maybe doesn't have something in your area and wants to start one, I think the King's website actually has tips. Just some tips that, just kinging and binding and facial hair and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So even if you just want to do it yourself or start something where you
Yeah,
are.
you know, just dress up as a king in your bedroom, which is cool.
Well, because
Take a
Vegas actually was
selfie.
saying that that's what he used to do.
Take
It's
a
just
selfie,
dress
yeah.
up and
Everyone
promote.
starts somewhere.
That's right.
It's true. It's true. We all got to start somewhere. So let's go ahead and get in this issue then. So every single time we do a Tag Nation podcast, we take a couple of things that are going on in this issue. So we are a print magazine. We're also online at tagmagazine.com. The first in this issue I want to talk about today is it's a short film called American Reflex. And it's kind of a throwback in this issue because it was going around the art scene about a year ago, and we were actually able to go to one of the premieres and see it. And then now it was just recently put on YouTube, and it is blowing up. It has over 1 million views. They've it's these two women, Allison Coates and Signe Pierce. And I'll tell you a little bit more about kind of what it is in a second. But yeah, they've been featured on Nylon Magazine, Paper Magazine, ONTD, Flavor Wire. So it's just blowing up suddenly. So I definitely wanted to come back and revisit this. So have you guys seen American Reflex?
Yes, I did see it, and
What are your thoughts?
So many feelings. I was so heartbroken watching it. I was really hurt. I walked away angry and very sad.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of queer films and stuff, they always leave me crying or heartbroken, or they leave me with this like hopeless feeling about being gay. I don't know if that's true for you guys, but when I watch things, and I always think back to like Boys Don't Cry. That was the first gay film that I ever saw, and it was heart-wrenching, and it tells such true stories. And then I think about all the people out there who can equate to this story or who can connect to it, and it just, I don't know. I try not to watch a lot of gay films sometimes if I know they're going to make me sad and depressed about our movement. It's just interesting.
I don't know if you guys saw that other short film, like I think it was called All You Need Is Love. It was like a few years back, and it just kind of had a little girl growing up straight in an all-gay environment. And it just, like, she, like, went through all these, you know, she was tortured at school, and her parents didn't accept her, and there was, like, this moment where she was, like, crying, trying to kill herself, and she was, like, a very young girl. And it was just, like, really flipped on its head because it was kind of showing how, you know, gay people feel, and it was just really sad. It actually definitely left me with some,
That's an
some
interesting
emotions.
one. A gay film that makes a straight person the victim. Interesting.
So I was going to ask, I didn't get to watch American Reflex. What is it about?
So that's what I was just going to get into. So American Reflex, what the film actually is it's Allison Coates, or Allie Coates, basically follows her girlfriend with a video camera, and Signe Pierce goes around, and they're in Myrtle Beach, and
Oh,
basically,
Myrtle Beach.
yeah, so they basically dressed up, they're both performance artists, and Signe dressed up in this really provocative outfit, almost some would call it stripper-esque, but the interesting thing is that she had this silver mask on. Basically, she just wanted people to not see her face, and then also kind of see society truly reflecting on it. So she's walking around Myrtle Beach, and it's kind of meant at first to be kind of fun. They really didn't mean for it to be any sort of social experiment. It was just kind of, again, like a performance art thing. But they decided at the beginning, we're going to walk around, I'm going to go behind you and film you, and we're not going to talk no matter what until we decide that it's over. So it starts off, she's walking, and it's kind of like, she's, you know, doing provocative movements and stuff, and it starts off like, you know, people kind of questioning, like, oh, like, who are you and what are you doing? And then she doesn't answer them. And then you hear people kind of get into less from curiosity and fun, and they start saying, like, are you a man or a woman? Are you a man or a woman? And Signe is like, I don't know, she's like 5'10" or something.
Probably
so she's
taller.
Yeah, she's
probably
really,
at least 6 feet.
She's really tall. She's really tall. So people just kind of, from her silence, assume that she's a man or she's a trans woman or something. But with her not telling them anything back, you see the crowd get really angry. So as it goes on this 14 minutes, they are throwing water at her. There's a mother and daughter who, like, kind of go around her and try to trip her and end up being successful. Like, she's bleeding at the end. And it just kind of turns into this whole mob mentality where she just ends up on the ground at the end with a bunch of people
Does she take off her mask and show them at the end?
And that's the thing is, we didn't discuss it this time, but we discussed it in the last time I interviewed them. And she was like, I I thought about taking off my mask, but like I did not want to give them that satisfaction. She's like, I didn't want to give them that satisfaction to show who I was and to like, you know, see that like she doesn't really care if people think she's trans or a man or a woman or not. But she was like, I just didn't want them to get that satisfaction that like they won. So basically, they got back to their car and they were like, what in the world just happened? And then made it into a short film.
Wow, are these people in the film too? Can we see the hatred?
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
you
crowd?
can absolutely see the crowd.
You know what? Myrtle Beach, it's in South Carolina, right? And like, I have had friends, now I don't go to Myrtle Beach. Like, I know as a gay, like, there are places that you know you're just not going to be welcome. No, so I have my gay best friend, he went with his ex-boyfriend to Myrtle Beach, and they had an incident at a bar with guys coming up to them and really threatening their safety. And it's like, I've heard so many horror stories about Myrtle Beach, so I go to Rehoboth. Like, if I'm going to go to the beach, I'm going to Gordon's Pond, Rehoboth, or I go to Miami, and it's so great. South Beach is so beautiful, and it's like you're accepted, but it's so sad that, like, we can't go to these places, and we can't live out loud without people. I mean, this mob mentality really scares me too. They're throwing water. You're throwing water at a stranger.
And also not just water bottles too. Like they were like hitting her with things.
I'm sorry, I don't condone violence, but I would kick somebody's ass. If I saw somebody doing that to somebody else, even if I don't know them, I'd be the first one to step in. And I'm not big, I'm not a strong person, but I think where are the allies or where are the good people in this world who are going to stand up and say, hey, what are you doing? Don't do that. Yeah. Why didn't anyone stop this?
Well, again, it's that crazy mob mentality. And what's interesting about Myrtle Beach, and we did get a chance to sit down with them again, so you'll hear this in the interview, but they kind of just wanted to pick something super middle America. Like, not middle America, I know it's kind of on the coast, but they wanted to just pick, you know, like the old trope will it play in Peoria, right? Like just the all-American town of just the general population.
What it's like, yeah, no.
Exactly, as opposed to something, because she was like, you know, if we did this in New York or LA,
it's
people would
almost
just be like,
expected.
okay, whatever. But she was like, I just wanted to take this idea of like hyper-sexualized feminine identity and drop it into middle America and see how people reacted to it. And it was pretty intense. So
I love the title then, American Reflex. Like, it's so natural for you to be this way. You know, it's your reflex.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And actually, I haven't even heard it brought that way. And a lot of it, what they say, too, is it's just kind of like, she has this mask on. Everyone can see what they're doing. You know, it's society reflecting upon itself. And yeah, just really showing it. So I did get a chance to sit down with Allison Coates and Signe Pierce. Thank you so much, ladies. And they tell you all about the film, kind of talk about projects that they've done. And I think it's really, really interesting when you hear their perspective. Definitely check out American Reflex. That's with 3 X's. You can find it on YouTube now.
If you could elaborate a little bit more on what the actual like social experiment is and just why you decided to make the film, kind of what it turned into.
Yeah. Well, part of it is that in 2013, when we were living in New York, we wanted to kind of take a step outside of the art world bubble and make a piece of work out in the real world and reality, using some of the themes that we've been working with, like femininity and commenting on stereotypes and the patriarchy, things like that. I grew up, I have family down in South Carolina, and I grew up visiting there every summer, so I was pretty familiar with Myrtle Beach, and it just seemed like a really right place to make work because there's basically like a church on every corner and a strip club on every other corner. So, you know, the very traditional heteronormative patriarchy has a real stronghold on South Carolina. And so when we went to Ocean Boulevard that night, we basically had planned to shoot kind of like a video portrait almost of this character in this setting. And the character, she looked the way she did. Do you want to talk about that? I like in the past I have kind of dabbled with this reality as a performance and sort of like using my body as a medium. And I